A Florida man gets a DUI with his funky Buddha box. A Florida woman pulled a knife on a man over a fart dispute. A Florida lady's arrested after urinating near some children in a parking lot. And a Florida barber shot a gunman who was upset over a haircut. These are the weird stories for Friday, and they are all from Florida because it's Florida Friday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian and the only daily weird news podcast that does Florida Friday. All the weird news from this week from one state and one state only. Our favorite one.
Those bizarre stories you hear about all the time that seem to only happen here in Florida. I know, right?
Can't make this stuff up. It is just one of the many wacky news stories out of Florida.
Why does the Sunshine State consistently produce such strange news?
But what accounts for all this bizarre news? Is it the weather? Is it the people?
Florida is full of the crazy stories.
A Florida man with an opened funky Buddha box has been jailed for DUI. I just want to know what a funky Buddha box is. I have a feeling it has nothing to do with the Buddha and the principles of Buddha, which lead to enlightenment. Florida has very little enlightenment, unless you count enlightenment knowing how to build a homemade crack pipe. That's stupid. So a Delray Beach, Florida man is facing a driving under the influence charge following his arrest this week. Wade Shaughnessy. His name's Wade. Nobody with the name Wade is up to good things. Everybody with the name of Wade is up to no good with their funky Buddha box. So Wade was weaving back and forth on South Ocean Boulevard. Everybody's weaving back and forth on South Ocean Boulevard. How do you know which one to pull over, Delray Beach Police? He was stopped by the police. And then we have a part of a narrative that was written by the investigator of the DUI, and it's very detailed. I have to say, they must have pulled this right from the report and published it. I'm going to cut to the juicy details. So the officer pulls him over and is met with a male driver, goes by the name of Wade, sitting in the driver's seat. The engine's running. Vehicle key is in the ignition. There's a white female in the front passenger seat. The officer says, I arrived on the scene to conduct a DUI investigation. I met with Wade, who was sitting in the driver's seat. I smelled an odor of an unknown alcoholic beverage coming from Wade. Wade's eyes were red. He had a glassy appearance. Wade's eyelids were droopy. He appeared to have difficulty keeping his eyes open. Yeah, that's the first sign of a DUI. Also that his name is Wade. That's another sign. Also, you're in Florida, buddy. That's another sign it's a DUI. So the investigator keeps going. Wade had slow dexterity and a slow response to questions. A slow dexterity. It's very highfalutin language in this police report. Wade's speech was slurred and it was thick. There was an open box of funky Buddha seltzer on the rear seat in plain view. So Wade nor his passenger tried to hide the funky Buddha. What's a box of funky Buddha seltzer taste like? I'd love to try it. Funky Buddha. This is a brand I'm so unfamiliar with. Is this only in Florida, the funky Buddha seltzer? I want it. Is this White Claw's new enemy, the funky Buddha? You're out the door, White Claw. Move over. Funky Buddha's coming to town. I want some funky Buddha. I want to get enlightened while I'm getting effed up behind the wheel of my Ford. So the funky Buddha's in the rear seat in plain view. Wade was unsteady on his feet when he exited the Ford, of course. Wade swayed. Wade swayed. Yeah, he swayed all right. Wade swayed on that funky Buddha in a circular motion while standing still. I could just picture they're painting such a detailed picture of Wade, this just misguided Floridian sucking down funky Buddha. The officer goes on to report after exiting the Ford, he smelled an odor of an unknown alcoholic beverage coming from Wade. No, it's known. It's funky Buddha, baby. See, the officer was unaware of funky Buddha, such as I was. Well, you're going to get very familiar with funky Buddha down in Florida because it has infiltrated. It has infiltrated the Floridian drivers down there, clearly. Now, Wade was questioned about his drinking history, stated he consumed 5 beers between noon and 8 o'clock. Wade stated that the beers he consumed were in a bottle, Wade later stated he consumed 5 to 6 beers, but he was unsure exactly how many drinks he consumed. Well, you know, Floridians aren't very good with math. You can't confuse them with questions like this. Says here he asked Wade about the open box of Funky Buddha. Yeah, I'd like to know about this open box of Funky Buddha. Is it a box with cans in it, or do you actually drink the Funky Buddha out of a box? Is it like boxed wine, but for seltzer? I have so many questions about Funky Buddha seltzer. I want to be an ambassador to Funky Buddha. Anyone work for Funky Buddha? I could use a sponsor here. So Wade stated that it was the beers he was consuming. He denied consuming the Funky Buddha seltzer, apparently. Maybe his passenger was consuming Funky Buddha. I mean, either way, we have a couple people that are just totally on the road to enlightenment. Not really. This is Christopher Walken, and I want you to know I've got a fever. And the only prescription is more Florida. A Florida woman pulls a knife on a man over a fart dispute. A Florida woman was arrested after pulling a knife on a gentleman who complained about her farting in line at a Dollar General store. According to the deputies, Shanita Wilson, age 37, was standing in line at a Dollar General store in Dania Beach. And according to the deputies, Shanita started farting loudly in the store. That's a quote. Farting loudly. A man standing behind Shanita complained about the passing of the gas in line at the Dollar General. That's when they got into a verbal dispute, according to the report. Now, in defense of Shanita, this is a Dollar General. What does this guy expect? What kind of behavior is he expecting? I mean, I think he's setting the bar too high when it comes to Dollar General customer behavior. I mean, just be thankful Shanita's wearing pants in the store at this point, sir. I assume she was wearing pants. Maybe she was not. Maybe she was pantsless and farting and her butt cheeks were fluttering and he didn't like the visual as well as the smell or the audio. Maybe the whole experience was terrible because Shanita wasn't wearing pants. My guess is she was wearing clothing, and you just need to be grateful for that. Just be grateful that everybody in line isn't, huffing on some sort of aerosol can to get high that they grabbed from the shelf. Just be grateful that people aren't throwing up on your sneakers in the Dollar General. I mean, really? You're going to complain about someone passing gas to the point where you're going to get shanked, sir? Just try to bring some reason to a Florida Dollar General store. I know it's not easy because you're a Floridian, so you're not really carrying around much reason. Okay, let's get back to the farting in line play-by-play. So the verbal dispute arises because Shanita can't stop passing gas in line. Deputies say that during the dispute, Shanita pulled a small lockback knife out of her pocket and told the male victim that she was going to, quote, gut him. Oh, boy, yeah. Because listen, when Shanita's passing gas, man, you do not want to interrupt her. She'll gut you. I'll gut you. According to the arrest report, investigators say Wilson pulled her right hand back with the knife in it as if she was going to attack the man right there on the spot. It says Yvette then fled the area only to be caught by deputies a short time later. Shanita, her middle name is Yvette. That's why they refer to her as, I don't know why you got to go to her middle name at this point in the story. Just, can we use either her last name or her first name? Let's keep it simple here. Jonesy's trying to improv off the story, reading it for the first time here. Help me out. After being identified by the victim, Wilson, now let's use the last name because we feel like it, was arrested and booked into the county jail. My guess is she's pulled weapons on people before because I have a feeling she flaps that gas wherever she goes. Doesn't matter where she's at. Applebee's, Panera, Chick-fil-A, bus stops, funerals. She's got to let it out, guys. But this is Florida. Just accept it. I mean, for crying out loud, the whole entire state smells like a fart anyways. So what are you complaining about, sir? A Florida woman was arrested after urinating in a parking lot around children. A woman was arrested after allegedly urinating in a parking lot of an apartment complex in a place called Lady Lake. Lady Lake sounds like a pretty place. This woman's trying to make even the parking lot be a little bit more of a lady lake with her little lady trickle. This is Lady Lake. No, that means I can pee everywhere. I'm just adding to the lake with my own lady urine. So an officer at 2 p.m., good time to be peeing in a parking lot around kids, Lady Lake. So it's 2 p.m. on Thursday. Officer spotted 42-year-old Darlene Roseanne Reveles. I'm going to call her for the sake of this story, Darlene. She was squatting, quote, squatting near the door of her silver Chevy Equinox SUV. This is near the Cove Apartments. You guys know the place. A lot of ladies making lakes there. According to an arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department, the officer noted that Darlene was doing little to cover herself from causing a public disturbance. The incident occurred where children were playing, and there's a local bus stop there as well. So she didn't even stop. She didn't even stop urinating as the bus pulled up. Hey, kids, are you on a Lady Lake public urination tour? Yeah, well, lucky for you, Darlene has had a few. It's 2 p.m. She's relieving herself next to her Chevy Equinox. Very comfortable place to create your own little lady trickle lake. When the officer asked Darlene, who's a server at a restaurant, what she was doing, she responded, quote, peeing. That's it. That's all she said. Peeing. Like, hello, what do you think I'm doing, sir? I'm peeing. All right, this is Lady Lake. I'm allowed to pee wherever I want. I'm a lady. I'm adding to the lake of pee. It says here Darlene's belt was undone, if you guys want details. Her pants were open, partially exposing her underwears. She said she lives in the apartment complex. Darlene actually lives there. She could not explain why she did not go inside to use the bathroom. Yeah, we'd all like to know why you didn't go inside to use the bathroom, Darlene. What's going on? Is your toilet clogged? What's happening? Huh? Is your mother on the toilet? She take a long time? Mothers can be that way. Why didn't you just run upstairs and use people? Just degenerates, man. Multiple alcohol cans were found in her SUV. What a surprise. 2 of them were open and still, quote, cool to the touch. Oh, boy. Because just before that moment, she was making her own little lady lake in the parking lot. She was like double-fisted with these alcohol cans. I'd like to know, was it Funky Buddha she was drinking? Darlene was also found to be in possession of what, guys? Here's the trivia. What was this Florida woman also found to be in possession of? Was it A, methamphetamine? Was it B, a crack pipe with remnants of crack within? Was it C, oxycodone? Was it D, tied up alligators? If you said oxycodone, you'd be right. She had oxy. The Funky Buddha oxy combo is a good time. It's a good way to spend the weekend. You're going to pee in some parking lots, just FYI. You're going to want to make little lady lakes wherever you go, ladies, if you're on the Funky Buddha / oxy afternoon delight. Oh, she's a California native, this Darlene. She was arrested on charges of disorderly intoxication and possession of oxycodone. She's booked at the Lady Lake jail. A lot of ladies with a public lake urination in this jail. Oh, I'm getting silly with this Lady Lake, but it was fun. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. Today's the greatest day because it's Friday. I got some news, and it's all from Florida. Yay! A Florida barber shot a gunman who was upset over a haircut. Melbourne, Florida. A barber shop owner shot and wounded a masked gunman who entered the shop and pointed a firearm at several people, including customers, police claim. The shooting occurred at about 3:25 p.m. at the New York Hair Barber Shop, which is located in a small strip mall on Florida Avenue. Now, I don't know what sort of high expectations you have for a haircut in a small Florida strip mall barbershop, but clearly this individual wasn't pleased with the outcome. I spent $20 on this one, man. Can't you get it right? And you're calling it New York Hair Barbershop. Very misleading. I mean, you're going in there expecting a New York haircut. Instead, you get a mullet. The official haircut of Florida. Is it still the mullet? See, now the mullet's become mainstream and hip. I see hipsters with mullets here in Los Angeles. So I guess it's currently the hip haircut in Los Angeles, the official haircut of Florida, and the official haircut of Canadian hockey players, the mullet. Well, anyways, the media reported that this gunman, identified by police as a Palm Bay resident, Marlon Masco, age 24, was shot in the hip. He was disarmed and apprehended at the scene by patrons and employees who jumped on him. He's being treated at the regional medical center. He should be sent to some sort of mental hospital as well, because if you're going to come back to a barbershop with a gun because you're displeased with the haircut that you got at a strip mall, you need some help. That's like going back to Supercuts and with a machine gun. Like, oh, you're displeased with the cut you got at Supercuts, sir? Maybe lower the bar of expectation here for haircuts. It's funny that he came back to it. Like, it didn't happen on the spot. I know why that is, because when you're getting a bad haircut, you don't say anything. It's like bad sex. You just don't say anything, but then later on, you're like, well, I'm not ever going to be using that service again. I mean, most of us not pleased with a haircut would just say to ourselves, all right, I'm going to chalk it up. I'm just not going to go back there. Unless you're I'm not going to say, unless you've spent hundreds of dollars on haircuts. So I've known women who have been displeased with their haircuts. They spent $300. They went back to get it fixed. Or asked for a refund, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes it oftentimes has something to do with the color as well. They got a color. These things are expensive. Of course you go back. But for guys, our haircuts are like super cheap and whatever. Like, in a month, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. This guy's like, didn't say anything while it was going on. Goes home, thinks about it, asks his friends. Maybe he got made fun of at school. And then was like, you know what? I'm going to go back there and shoot this mofo. Just go to another place, dude. Or just wait. Just shave it all off. I mean, you're a dude. Here's a quote from the investigator. It was revealed that it wasn't related to a robbery, this haircut shooting. It was actually related to a prior haircut transaction that he was not pleased with. So this could be the price of the haircut as well. I mean, there could be a lot going on here. It doesn't indicate what he was pissed about. Could be the price of the haircut. Could be the actual haircut. Either way, this is not okay. And kudos to the barber for being prepared to defend him or herself from an attack like this, and not fatally shooting the individual as well, which is a skill. Just shot him in the hip enough to probably get him on the ground where everybody else jumped on him. Just way to handle it. I would love to see more of this. Fewer fatalities. I mean, unless they deserve it, of course. But this is just a haircut argument. Like, can we all just be adults here? No, we can't, because it's Florida. Woo, baby, it's the weekend now. Florida Friday, leading you into the weekend with some weird crapola from the state of Florida. I want to thank everyone who sent me Florida articles. You know who you are. You're extremely helpful, and you give a damn. And I want to thank you, and I hope you're having a good weekend. I hope all of you are having a good weekend, or you're about to. I don't know when you're listening to this. Maybe you already had a great weekend. Good for you. It's a holiday weekend. I may or may not do an episode on Monday. We'll see how it goes. Jonesy's got plans to be at the beach, having some barbecue, and I have 2 fantasy football drafts. So, Jonesy, have you ever drafted drunk before? This might be a fun one. I might have the worst team ever drafted, because I might be all on that funky Buddha. I'm going to find this funky Buddha, and I'm going to imbibe. That's right, imbibe. I-M-B-I-B-E, which is a word I think means get wasted. Does it? Help me out here, guys. Any English majors? Any writers out there? Any people smarter than me listening to the show? Yeah, most of you are. Anyways, if you are in the U.S., I hope you have a lovely holiday weekend. If you're not in the U.S., I'm curious, do you have a holiday weekend this weekend? Do you have such a thing called Labor Day? I'm curious. I'd love to know. Please let me know what you guys do, what weird holiday you might have that I don't have. You can call the show 646-450-2012 or email me, funnyjones@gmail.com. I'd like to give a shout out to Paige Ross, who increased her pledge on Patreon. Yeah, she doubled her pledge because she just feels like she wants to double her support for Weird AF News. And I appreciate that so very much. So I just wanted to give Paige Ross a big shout out and a big thank you from the bottom of my core. the bottom of my heart. And if I ever see you, Paige, I'm buying you Funky Buddha. We're going to have some Funky Buddha. Do you want to have Funky Buddha in an SUV with me in a parking lot? Sounds like a good time. Hey, in other words, do you want to have a Florida good time? Anyone want to have a Florida good time? Oh man, I should package together like activities and call them the Florida Experience and offer them to people out here in Los Angeles. What's the Florida Experience, Jonesy? Well, it all starts with a little meth. Then it ends urinating in a parking lot. It's good. But what happens in between then? Who knows? Who knows? It's a big mystery. Are you able to run? Are you able to run? You're going to need to be able to run for this activity. When you hear the sirens, follow me. I know some secret alleyways we could bust through. Oh, yeah, the Florida Experience. You know how they have like Airbnb experiences that you could curate? Well, I should just put together a Floridian experience. It'd be great. Okay, so we're gonna do what? Yeah, we're gonna shove baby alligators down our pants. Don't worry, I've duct taped their jaws closed. We're selling them off Craigslist to a guy in Inglewood. We're gonna use that money to buy some quality chemicals. Then we're gonna hit up Bevmo and get the Funky Buddha, baby. I'm out of my mind, clearly, but I blame you guys because you egg me on. So this is what you get. You respond, and I just keep going. I think I'm too highly caffeinated. If you'd like to buy me some caffeine, by the way, you can buy Jonesy a cup of coffee off his website, weirdafnews.com. Click on the Buy Jonesy a Coffee icon or picture. Picture, what do they call that? A tab? I don't know what you call it. Tab? Isn't that a soda? Funky Buddha. Imagine, is it made by Tab, that company? Hilarious. Oh, while you're there, you could also join the Patreon. That's a way to support, just like Paige Ross does, who I'm going to have some Funky Buddha with in an SUV in a parking lot near a school. No, just kidding. We'll stay far enough away. You can join the Patreon there or go to patreon.com/weirdafnews. I posted a pretty crazy video today of an alligator doing something wild in Florida. It was a story I wanted to cover, but it works better as a visual because you kind of need to see how the alligator's behaving. It's crazy. And the people around it are freaking the hell out. The whole thing is an amazing video. So, it doesn't really work as a podcast segment. So I posted it in the Patreon. So check that out, guys. Just another way to say what's up on a Friday in the Patreon. I got to keep my patrons on their toes leading into the weekend with some Florida humor. What better than a video of an alligator doing some outrageous shit? Okay, so anyways, this has gone way too long. Please join the Patreon. Please support the show. If you can't afford, I understand. We're in tough times right now. Please leave a review of the podcast. That would be extremely helpful. It doesn't take very long either. You can do it on Amazon. Everyone has an Amazon account. Just go look for Weird AF News Podcast on Amazon and leave a review there. Leave some stars. My last review there was pretty terrible, so I got to offset that with a good one. Could you help out? Could you help a brother out? Could you help this Bostonian recording in a closet out with a little bit of love, a little digital love and support? Thank you.